Mic check 1 2 1 2. Live feed. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Social media live feed check 1 2 1 2. Check 1. Check 2. Can you hear me, Chris? Check 1. Check 2. Microphone check. Okay. Yep, we get. I don't believe so. I will go check.
Summer goes back and it twists them drum twists.
Oh, yep, so that I just turned off my other one. Second mic check. 1 2. Live feed mic check. 1 2 1 2. Check 1. Check 2. Check 1 2. Okay. Thank you. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Last microphone check. 1 2 1 2. Check 1, check 2. Check 1 2 3 4. How you doing? Check 1. Sorry.
Not here. No, I'm on the bus tour.
There he is. Yeah, Kevin. Wait. All right, there you go.
Check, testing, 1, 2, 3. Mic check, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, mic check, mic check.
I think. Okay.
Jeff. Oh, it's on now. Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Tim, everybody, excuse me. We have a couple of little lost children up here. They're looking for their grandmother. Is Grandma here?
Michael and Max.
Michael and Max are here looking for their grandma.
Oh, there she is. We found her.
Okay, we found her. Okay. Well, it's not a ribbon cutting into a united family. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and get ready and take our seats. Okay. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take our seats. Okay, how's everybody doing today? Yeah, it's what a nice, well, I was going to say what a nice day. It's an unusual day. I mean, normally in Michigan, we have to worry about snow or rain, never fire, air quality issues. So, unfortunately, we had to cancel the Family Fun Day part of the event, but we will be having it later on. And but I want to thank everybody that's here today for coming out today. This is a really an important day, I think, here as we get settled in. I've lived in Detroit for 30-some years. I lived behind the train station for quite a while. I never ever thought I'd see the day to see the train station renovated and these strange roads gone, the park united now. So there's a lot of people that played a very important role in making this happen today, and I'd like to acknowledge a couple of those folks before we go to our speaking. First, I want to thank all the people here that were involved in the community engagement. If you went to one of the community engagement meetings, raise your hand, please. Good. Good number of you here, so thank you so much for being here and taking part in that. I'd also like to thank the two leaders that led the community engagement meetings, Jeff Klein and Kevin Schranz, wherever they're at. Jeff was the chief architect on the park and did a great job, and Kevin helped with the community engagement. I also like to thank Barry Burton, who couldn't be here today. Barry's the chief horticulturist who did all the plant work and design work, and I'm proud to say that all that work was done by Kevin, Jeff, and Barry. They're all Detroit City employees, so glad that they're here, a part of our city. And all three live in Detroit, too. How nice about that? I also want to thank, where's Dara? Dara Byrne, the chief parks planner. So thank you, Dara, for all of your work that you did, too, and pulling meetings together. And I'd also then like to, before I bring Mayor Mike Duggan, I'd like to thank him because Mayor Duggan is the guy that kind of keeps pushing us and supporting us to get all this work done. And not 1 week went by where he didn't comment to me, the park's looking great, the park's looking great, it's coming along. So I knew we had to get this done or I was in trouble. So, so with that said, I'd like to please introduce and a warm welcome to Mayor Mike Duggan.
Well, how does it look? You know, this is such a history of Detroit story. Roosevelt Park was named for President Teddy Roosevelt in 1919, the day after he died. City Council voted to name it for him. That was the decision that made sense. But there were two competing visions for this area. Should you just have a boulevard to get you in and out of the train station, or should you build a park? And in typical political fashion, they compromised, and we had roads running through some grass that had to be the ugliest park in the city of Detroit. But because of President Biden and the American Rescue Plan, the city of Detroit has money to do things we would not otherwise have been able to do. We have $827 million, and unlike the great majority of cities in America, this city council and our administration have decided we're not putting it into the normal budget, which you could do. Everything we're doing is building something we wouldn't have gotten to. It's going to accelerate Detroit's recovery by 10 years. And this project behind you, $6 million, $5 million paid by the American Rescue Plan, something we could not have done. And to do it in conjunction with what Ford's doing, they've already opened their innovation center there. Very shortly going to have 14th Street is going to be the first street in America where the street charges your electric vehicle as you drive and park. And when we leave here, I'm getting in the bus with Gene Sperling, the head of the American Rescue Plan, to go see the Joe Louis Greenway with $50 million American Rescue Plan money going into it to take that abandoned railway line and some of the most they were basically abandoned, tire-filled areas of the city and turning it into beautiful parkland. We are turning the city from blight to beauty. President Biden, Senator Stabenow, our congressional delegation have been a big piece of it. But we've had the special benefit that the president's top advisor, the man in charge of the American Rescue Plan from America, for the entire country, is here from Michigan. So let's welcome our favorite son, the head of the American Rescue Plan, Gene Sperling.
Well, no doubt I am a Michigander, born and raised in Ann Arbor, Michigan. It is where my parents lived their entire adult lives. When my dad passed, we counted 66 straight years of Michigan season tickets for basketball and football. And I'm really Many of you might know my younger brother who is here, Rick Sperling, who is the founder of the Mosaic Youth Theater Group and is now, yep, you can clap for that, and is now working on a citywide equity and youth arts initiative with Connect Detroit. So we are very much a Michigan family. And in fact, I hate to put the mayor on the spot, but when I told him who my hero was growing up, which was Willie Horton, number 23 in left field, he told me he would arrange for me and Willie Horton, my boyhood hero, to meet. So I'm going to hold him to that. I really want to thank, I'm going to talk about the mayor. I really want to thank Senator Stabenow. She is, for such a powerful senator, chairman of the Agriculture Committee. I mean, she has been a blessing for Detroit, for equity, for helping all of Detroit from urban to rural. From urban to rural Michigan. She's just been amazing, and she's still going 100%. And we just can't thank her more, and I can't tell you how much the president appreciates her. And I know stuff doesn't happen just by senators and mayors, and so glad that the City Council President Mary Sheffield is with us, Councilmember Santiago Romero, and very happy be with the other speakers, Coretta Lane Smith and Sheila Cockrell and Myrna Segura and Bob Roberts, and you'll hear from all of them, so thank you. What I want to say quickly is that today the President of the United States is in Chicago and kind of laying out what he really sees as a major economic framing speech. And what it really is, in a nutshell, is that what builds America, what builds dignity for economic workers, which builds a sense of hope and community, is not trickle-down economics. It's not how little you can tax the most well-off Americans or let the largest corporations avoid paying their share. It is about fundamentally investing in America, bringing manufacturing and jobs back to the United States, and investing in the people and the communities. So when we talk about invest in America, there's no better place I could be right now than here in Detroit. Not just because it's the city I love so much and grew up in or nearby, but really, and I mean this to the City Council President, I mean this to the Mayor, as the President's Senior Economic Advisor and coordinator of the American Rescue Plan, there just isn't a city that certainly has done more to use the American Rescue Plan dollars more to invest in Detroit, invest in America in ways that matters. What the mayor said is, we totally understand many places were ravaged by the pandemic. They had to use funds just to keep afloat. But probably what we most hoped and imagined is that there would be mayors like Mayor Duggan who would say, this money, over $800 million, is precious. What can we do not just to skate by or pay some bills, but to actually invest in lasting ways in the community? And I came out earlier for the announcement on $100 million on scholarships and skills and Jumpstart for workers who aren't necessarily going to get 4 years of college, but have opportunities to get great jobs that pay well if we're helping. And I was glad to be out for that $100 million announcement. I am so encouraged to see the devotion to affordable housing that will be lasting, that will bring prices down, that will help reduce the racial wealth gap in our country. But I really want to say, and then I will let us escape the air some here. But what I really want to say is you cannot underestimate what it means to invest in your public spaces, to create clean, safe, open, equitable public spaces that can be shared at no cost by every member of the community. If you look at what is often the sense of why a community goes down or why it looks like it's rising up, It is often the openness and beauty and equitable access of their public spaces. Think about that. My wife, who believes in this very much, likes to call them public living rooms. The public living rooms where everyone can come. Doesn't matter how much money you make, doesn't matter your color, what neighborhood you're in, it's open to everyone and their families. And you know, if you have a Sunday open, you know, what do you want to do more in life than be with your family and kids in a beautiful space? So for me to see this, the Roosevelt Park, to, you know, I got sent all the pictures from the early part of the last century, saw what this looked like, saw what it became and why it was not an attractive place and separated by, you know, in ways, and then to see it transformed, to see this become this beautiful, open, iconic place. This is what creates community. This is what, you know, raises, you know, the values of neighborhood, makes people want to invest in more of them. And again, I can't say enough, in our often, too often divided country economy, places where it is open to everyone, no matter who you are, no matter how much you make, and everyone gets to share in it equally. It's a beautiful thing, and I just really want to congratulate the City Council, congratulate you, Mayor, for making this lasting investment with the American Rescue Plan dollars that came from President Biden and would not have been law without the vote of Senator Stabenow, and I mean that, mathematically would not have been there, beyond all the issues that she fought for in them. To see you putting it to such lasting use and knowing I'll be coming back here for years and years with my family. So thank you very, very much.
Well, Gene, thank you for those beautiful remarks on parks and public spaces. I think they hit home to all the park lovers here. So now we're going to introduce Senator Debbie Stabenow. Made in Michigan through and through, U.S. Senator Debbie Stabenow continues to lead on public policy and improve the lives of Detroiters. Her leadership is characterized by an unrivaled work ethic, the ability to build bipartisan coalitions and to get things done, commitment to public service. Senator Stabenow has persistently focused on making things in America and bringing jobs home. Because of her leadership, Michigan is well positioned as a global leader in advanced vehicles and clean energy economy. I guess that's behind us, right? And we're excited to have her here with us today. Please welcome our U.S. Senator Debbie Stabenow.
Thank you so much. Well, good afternoon. When we talk about clean energy, it can't come fast enough as we are looking at what is happening right now. It's wonderful to be here. I'm so excited. I love Detroit. I love the vision of what's happening. I love what the mayor is doing when he's saying the investments that we worked hard to put into the American Rescue Plan, the president's vision for this, all of us working together. It really was about investing in people, neighborhoods, quality of life. Thank you, Mayor, for doing that. Thank you for not just putting it in the general fund budget like some folks did, but actually you're a role model for other states, and that is for sure. And same thing with the City Council. Thank you so much, Councilwoman President Sheffield, and all the members that are here. Your dedication to the city is really extraordinary, and so it's exciting always to be here, and it's extra fun when I can be with Gene Sperling. And you know, we've been together on many different occasions, working together with President Obama's administration, and now back with President Biden. I've been so thrilled to see that President Biden was smart enough to grab on to Gene and say, no, we want you to come back and be a part of overseeing the implementation of all of this. And the only thing I've ever disagreed with him on, actually the mayor as well, is that I went to Michigan State. And so I have to say, go green. Okay, I'm not alone here? Okay, that's good. I just want to be clear. So my son went to U of M, but I have to claim Michigan State here. So let me say, though, that more than 100 years ago, Roosevelt Park was built to welcome people arriving at the Michigan Central Station. And by the way, for our friends from Ford here, we thank you. We thank you for Bill Ford, for the entire team's vision here. Michigan company through and through. And it's so exciting to see what you're doing. But it also provided originally recreation for Detroiters. There was actually a temporary skating rink in 1918 and 1919 that was so popular that the city set up lights so people could skate at night. And so, move forward. You know, at the peak, there were more than 4,000 people who arrived at the train station every day and enjoyed the views of the park, including President Hoover, President Truman, President Roosevelt, and others. But then we know what happened. The era of trains gave way to automobiles. The station was eventually abandoned. The park was chopped up, as the mayor said, by 6 lanes of asphalt. And now, today, it's a new day. It is a new day. So thanks to $5 million from President Biden's American Rescue Plan, we're once again turning this back into a Detroit treasure. I was proud to help champion this legislation. We know how important it is to invest in our cities, to invest in our future. And we know that this park is now safer for pedestrians, a home for community events, a space that unites 3 historic neighborhoods, which is wonderful. And it's once again a beautiful front yard for one of our city's most iconic buildings. A park and a station being brought back to life. It's another great day in Detroit, and I'm proud to be your partner. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. I believe we also have some friends here from Michigan Central today. I saw folks in the crowd. If you're here from Michigan Central, raise your hand, please. Okay. Thank you. Oh, thank you very much for all of you guys for being here today. Hopefully you like your new park to go to every day for lunch and such. So the next speaker is Council President Mary Sheffield. So we were putting the speaker list together today. I sent her a text and I said, would you like to speak today? And she said, absolutely, yes. So Council President, she loves parks as well too. I'm glad that we have a mayor and a Council President who are big, huge advocates of parks. So with that said, I'd like to have Council President come up. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Such an honor to be here as we mark the transformation of previously undeveloped land into a 13-acre community gateway for all of the residents here in the city of Detroit. Let me again thank the community for your effort, your work in the engagement process and making sure that your voices were heard throughout this process. Again, Brad Dick, thank you. He is a fighter for our green spaces in the city of Detroit. Let's give it up for Brad again. I just love his energy and his passion. Brad Dick, thank you for all the work that you do. To our mayor, again, thank you as well. U.S. Senator, thank you for your work as well, too. And everyone who played a role in investing in our people with this project. As was mentioned, the American Rescue Plan Act funded this project, and the funding from ARPA, as we call it here in Detroit, has been a lifeline for our city, allowing us to invest in critical infrastructure projects like this one that will benefit residents for years to come. So, Mr. Sperling, again, we send you a huge hug from the city of Detroit to the Biden administration for what you all have done for our residents in Detroit. So thank you again. The completion of Roosevelt Park is especially meaningful to me because it represents a commitment to the families and children of our city. Green spaces are essential for the health and well-being of our residents, and this project will not only enhance the beauty of our city, but also provide safe and welcoming spaces for families to enjoy. Roosevelt Park is more than just a recreation space. It is a symbol of hope and progress for our city. And it also was a symbol for our commitment to creating a better future for all Detroiters. And so I am extremely looking forward to the impact that this will have on the residents in Detroit. Councilmember Santiago Ramiro, who represents this district, was not able to be here because she is at the council table fighting for more projects like this. But she does send her love and her greetings and her regards. So again, thank you. Congratulations to all who played a part in this. Thank you.
And then next up, we have Cornetta Lane Smith, who is the Director of Community Engagement at Michigan Central. Cornetta, welcome.
Well, hello, everyone. Hello, hello. And like Detroiters like to say, what up, doe? What up, doe? It's my husband over there. Hello, everyone. My name is Cornetta Lane Smith, and I am Director of Community Engagement at Michigan Central. Michigan Central convenes a broad range of community stakeholders, from research institutions to tech startups to even residents, to solve some of the mobility issues that we face today. And so my job is to ensure that the voices of our neighbors are heard and reflected in the work that we do at Michigan Central, and that they are kept informed as we continue to bring these incredible historic buildings back to life. I'm also a lifelong Detroiter. Okay. I grew up less than a mile away from here in Core City. So I don't know if y'all, I'm repping Core City, yes? But as a child, I had a very active imagination. I imagined not seeing an abandoned building and park. I actually saw potential. I imagined children playing in the park and grown-ups driving to work, to their work at the station. And I imagined a better place. And now I get to work with a talented team and some of you here to really bring that childhood dream to fruition. And at Michigan Central, our goal really is to complement the work at the city with the Roosevelt Park and Joe Louis Southwest Greenways and the riverfront, right? And do our work to build a more connected Detroit. And so I really want to end my remarks with gratitude. I want to say thank you to Dara and Jeff and Brad and their teams for building a park that residents near and far will enjoy for generations to come. Thank you. And now I'd like to welcome up Sheila Cockrell.
Good afternoon. As a lifelong Detroiter and a fourth-generation resident of Corktown, this is really an amazing day. I will say I don't remember it as being quite an ugly place, because virtually every Sunday my dad would bring us, my brothers and sisters and I, we'd walk from our house on Leverett Street to the train station to get a New York Times, and coming through Roosevelt Park was part of that experience. I think he would be very happy to see what's happened here today through the leadership of the mayor. Particularly the mayor's emphasis on bringing back parks and recreation is really, really significant for the city. I chaired the city council's recreation task force in an era where there wasn't a lot of money and there wasn't the kind of focus that the Duggan administration brings. So it's really, really great to see this happen. Michigan Central, we called it the depot. It then became Michigan Central Station, and now it's Michigan Central. It was very much an anchor for the region. This was a regional transportation hub, and now we have the Ford company making this a regional zone for innovation and development. So I look forward to this being an opportunity for people in this neighborhood and in the impact zone, the folks who live in Hubbard-Richard, the folks who live in North Corktown, and the folks who live in Corktown, to be able to engage about the future in terms of transit. This is where we can have lots of innovation conversations. So thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. My pleasure to introduce two folks who I know well, who have been heart and soul of this community for many, many years. Mirna Segura, who is a community development specialist who has had long history in Mexican Town and in Southwest Detroit. And of course, Bob Roberts, who's president of the Corktown Business Association. I'm a member of his executive board and couldn't be prouder. But this is all about Detroit. Thank you very much to our leadership from Washington. We couldn't have done it without you.
Hello. So I started a business in 2012 at the corner of Michigan and Trumbull. I also live on Church Street. Back then there was about 721 rooftops in Corktown. We had one park and two play lots, and at that time Roosevelt Park was still up to about here in grass. Fast forward to today, by the end of this year, we will have actually doubled the number of residents in Corktown. Still, yes, still with one park and 2 play lots. So that's why this park is so important to Corktown. Additionally, because of the Choice Neighborhoods grant, we're going to see an additional 800 residential units between Corktown and North Corktown over the next 3 years. Those are mixed income housing, all the way down to deeply affordable. And so with that will naturally come startup families and single parent families. That's what makes this park so important to Corktown. Here.
Thank you, Bob. Good afternoon. Buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Mirna Segura, and originally I'm from Mexico. I came to Detroit back in 1996. In 1999, I started working in Southwest Detroit for Mexican Town Community Development Corporation, and then for Southwest Detroit Business Association. So I have been doing community development and business development for a long time. My main goal has been to provide a platform to the community and the business owners in order to voice their needs and also what the vision is for what is happening in their districts and also around the Mexican town Southwest Detroit. So we are very thankful for the unification of the Roosevelt Park, which has created a more welcoming, accessible, and inclusive environment for all, strengthening and celebrating the culturally diverse communities of Corktown and Mexican Town. Mexican Town and Southwest Detroit are known for their rich Latino culture and traditions, public art, legacy businesses, great food, and wonderful and enthusiastic community members who participated and provided input and shared their vision for the park, which became a priority for the city team and designers working on the project. For that, we're thankful. The United Roosevelt Park is a geographical gem that honors and promotes heritage, diversity, and unity among neighbors and visitors alike. The park is welcoming, accessible, and inclusive place for all of us to better connect with the vibrant Corktown and Mexican Town harbor communities of Southwest Detroit. So many thanks.
And Mayor, just so you know, I did not use the 2020 census for the residential numbers I quoted.
All right, folks, that concludes our program for today, but I do have one person and group I need to thank. Our ARPA administrator here in the city of Detroit, Megan Elliott. Megan, raise your hand. Megan and her team have worked really, really hard to manage the ARPA dollars. And whenever Megan and I sit next to each other in meetings to talk about Park, the mayor looks at us suspiciously. So, we like to conspire, don't we, Megan? So anyway, with that said, I think it's time to cut the ribbon and officially open this park up. What do you guys say? So let's get a couple of these little kids over here. If your mom or grandma doesn't mind, maybe you guys can help cut the ribbon. And then also our guest today, Gene, Senator Stabenow, Council President Rales also as well too, Cornetta. So. Gene, your comments were really spot on about park space and green space.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the Joe Louis green.
I can't wait to.
We've taken 30,000 tires in our